What's going on, guys? So I had a lot of guys asking about the new VENTUM 30 from Hoyt. I brought that video to y'all last week. Along with that video, I had a lot of guys wanting to see the VENTUM 30 compared to the new Mathews V3. So I've done a video on both of these bows individually. If you're interested about the specs and things like that on these bows and what you're getting when you buy these bows, go watch their respective individual videos. I get more into details about the full specs on each bow. So another thing I want to talk about is make sure you get entered for the drawing. It'll be 3 weeks from this video is when we'll draw for the free pack of broadheads. Remember, in order to be entered for that, go to the VENTUM 30 video and write a comment. That's all you got to do to be entered, so don't forget to do that. So, like I said, I've done the individual bow videos for both of these. It's time to compare the two. Like I said, comparing these two bows here together, the V3 and the VENTUM 30. Both of these bows so far have been my top two out of all the 2021 bows that I've shot. I've liked these bows the best. I like one bow better than the other overall, but with that being said, I like certain things about each bow in their own right. So 30-inch axle to axle in the VENTUM 30, 31 inches axle to axle in the V3. They also make a 27, but the 31 is the more comparable version to the VENTUM 30. The 31 is also the one that I like the best between the 31 or the 27. So that's why these two are the ones I'm comparing. Both of these bows are set at 70.9 pounds. Both of these bows are set at 27-inch draw. The V3 is pulling 27 1/4. The VENTUM 30 is pulling 27 1/8. So there's an 1/8 inch difference. That's all the difference is between these two bows. So just keep that in mind. The speed should be very similar. They're both set up with a whisker biscuit, and they're all bone stock, nothing on the strings with the exception of a D-loop. So speeds should be very comparable between these two when we get to that point. So let's go ahead and jump on into shooting these bows, and I'll talk about what I like and dislike about each bow. So I'll start out by shooting an arrow with the VENTUM, and then I'll shoot an arrow with the V3 so you can hear both of them. All right, so in all my other videos, I've shot a 440 grain Easton Axis. I'm doing a little work with some stainless steel outserts from Ethics Archery. So this arrow right here is actually 455 grains. I'm going to shoot the exact same arrow between each bow so that you can really get a feel for the sound, the shot cycle, and all that stuff with the same identical arrows. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. All right, so VENTUM 30, this is the draw cycle. You can see it's very smooth. There's no lope on the back side. It just drops right off. 70.9 pounds. Listen to the shot, how the shot sounds. Very quiet. Definitely one of the quietest bows for the 2021 lineup. Another thing that I'm really impressed with this bow, very little hand shock. Honestly, there's less hand shock in this bow than there is in the RX5 in my personal opinion. So let's jump into the V3. I'll give you a shot with that. This one will lope right here, right there. There's just a little bit of lope on the back side. Now let me let this one down like I did the Hoyt. This bow has a very, very, very nice back wall. It's real solid. The Hoyt does as well, but there's something about the way this bow holds that I really, really like. So let me draw this bow back smoothly like I would in a deer stand so you can see how it would be. See, it's got a little lope on the back side. I'm gonna let a shot off, listen to how the shot sounds. That bow is so quiet. Honestly, this bow here and also the V327, they're the quietest bows on the market right now, hands down. With that being said, the VENTUM 30 is just a small amount less, or a small amount more sound on the shot. It's a very, very small amount. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference, you know, depending on which bow you select. That shouldn't be the deciding factor, but man, it's hard to not say something about how quiet this Mathews V3 is. All right, so I'm gonna grab the arrow back out and we'll shoot the Hoyt again. The biggest comparison difference between the two bows for me is just how smooth the draw cycle is on the Hoyt. It is just so smooth. And let me shoot one more time with the V3. Honestly, I believe there's a little bit less hand shock in the Hoyt. Not very much. Now the V327 has absolute zero hand shock. The 31 has a little bit, and I think that's just because the riser is so long. And that's one thing about this bow is the riser is just, I mean, it's just unreal for a 31-inch axle-to-axle bow, how long the riser is on this bow. So let me grab my arrow. We'll shoot both of these through the chronograph, and we'll see what we're getting. Now through the chrono, I am going to shoot my 440 grain arrow. I'm going to shoot that, and then I'm also going to shoot the 455 grain arrow and just see what the difference is on speed. All right, so the first one I'm going to shoot is going to be the Hoyt. So let's see what the VENTUM 30 does through the chrono. First arrow is going to be 455 grains. .265. Next arrow is going to be 440 grains. .271. All right, so now we're going to shoot the Mathews. So the Hoyt was .265 with a 455 grain arrow and .271 with a 440 grain arrow. All right, V3, 455 grain arrow. .273, and the V3 with a 440 grain arrow. .277. So between the two, 265 with a 455 grain arrow for the Hoyt, and 271, so 6 feet a second difference with the Mathews. And then it was 271 for the Hoyt and 277 for the, 271 and 277, and then it was 265 and 271. So exactly 6 feet a second difference between both arrows. So that was actually a very good comparison between the two. So like I said, the Hoyt or Mathews is drawing about a 1/4 inch long, or a 1/8 inch longer. So they're very, very comparable on specs as far as the draw length. The draw weight's exact. They're both 70.9. So there's kind of a good idea what you're going to get difference between speed. Now, both of these bows are set up with the 80% or 85% mods. You can go to the 80% mods and you'll get more speed out of both bows respectively. So I don't currently have an 80% set of mods for the Mathews V3. One cool thing that I really like about the Hoyt, their new mods are actually adjustable to 80% without actually changing your mods. They have an adjustment on the end of the. So let's grab both these bows and talk about what I like, what I dislike, and which one I like the most. So for the Hoyt, what I like is the draws. The main thing I like is the draw cycle. It's got a very, very nice draw cycle. This is their first year of the binary cam system, so that really has helped with their back wall. But the smoothness of this bow, the quietness of this bow, and the hand shock. There's absolutely no hand shock in the shot at all. This has been the first aluminum bow from Hoyt that I've ever shot that had absolutely zero hand shock. Very, very nice bow from Hoyt. So the V3, the thing I like about it is it holds better in my hand personally. I think that has to do with the length of the riser itself. I like that. The draw cycle is a little harsher than what the draw cycle is on the Hoyt. It's got a little bit more of a lope to it, but being that I've shot Hoyt for so long, I think I'm more used to their draw cycles than I am the Mathews draw cycle, and I think it's something that if you're coming from a respected bow company, sometimes it's hard to get used to a different bow company's draw cycle. It takes a little while to get used to it, so keep that in mind when you're making your decision. This bow also has very, very little hand shock, and these bows are just next level quiet. Like, there's nothing on the market right now that compares to how quiet the new V3 is from Mathews. The way the bow holds in my hand is what I like the best about this bow. The back wall is also phenomenal. The valley on both bows are pretty identical. I don't really notice much of a difference. Like I said, I haven't shot either one in 80%, so I can't speak on that, but in 85%, it's hard to tell the difference on the valley. They're both very, very forgiving bows. So with all that being said, which one do I think I would choose between the two? It's still going to be the V3. So far, there's been something about this bow. It just fits me. I really like the way it holds in my hand, and it's just going to be hard to steer me away from this bow. Now, with that being said, I really, really like this Hoyt. It's just a hair under the V3 for how I like them. But if I had to choose one right now, it would still be the V3. I'm still planning on doing a full in-depth review on both of these bows together. I'm waiting on my V3 to come in. Once it gets in, I'm going to take one of these Hoyts and my Mathews, and I'm going to set them both up, and I'm going to take them to the house, and I'm going to shoot them out at distance, and I'm going to compare them with broadheads, tuning process, all that type of stuff. They're going to be very similar, I think, on tuning, with the fact that neither one of them have a yoke system going to the outer sectional limbs. So you'll have to use shims to move their cams back and forth if you're having issues getting your rest and your broadheads to tune. So, like I said, there's my review on these two bows. They're both phenomenal. It's going to be all about preference and which one you like the most, but if I had to choose one right now, it would still be the V3. So I appreciate you watching. If there's anything else out there that y'all want to see, please continue to comment down below in these videos. Give me ideas of what y'all want to see, and I'll try to bring it to you. Don't forget to enter into the giveaway. Comment on last week's video on the VENTUM 30, and at the end of the 4-week period, we will draw out of all the guys that have and girls that have commented on that video. So I appreciate you watching. Continue to contact these guys up here at Grafton Archery at 704-855-1300, and I'll try to continue bringing these bow reviews to you. So I appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next one. Remember to live your life to the fullest and use your passions to bless others. Appreciate you watching.